Welcome back. In part 1 of As a Man Thinketh, we uncovered the fundamental truth. Your thoughts create your character, your circumstances, and even your physical health. But here's the question. How do you actually use this power? That's what part 2 is all about. James Allen is about to show you how to link your thoughts with purpose. This is the secret sauce, the real thought factor behind all achievement. How visions and ideals literally shape your future, and the ultimate state of being, serenity. If you haven't watched part 1, go back and watch it first, because what we're about to cover builds on those foundations. Ready? Let's get into it. Chapter 4, Thought and Purpose. Allen opens with a brutal truth. Until thought is linked with purpose, there is no intelligent accomplishment. Most people let their thoughts drift like a ship without a rudder. And guess what? That's a recipe for disaster. Aimlessness is a vice. If you're just drifting through life, you're going to be destroyed by it. Here's what happens when you have no central purpose. They who have no central purpose in their life fall an easy prey to petty worries, fears, troubles, and self-pityings. All of these are indicators of weakness, and weakness cannot persist in a power-evolving universe. You'll be crushed. So what's the solution? Allen gives us the formula. Step 1. Conceive of a legitimate purpose in your heart. Step 2. Set out to accomplish it. Step 3. Make this purpose the centralizing point of your thoughts. This purpose might be a spiritual ideal, a worldly object. Welcome back. In part 1 of As a Man Thinketh, we uncovered the fundamental truth. Your thoughts create your character, your circumstances, and even your physical health. But here's the question. How do you actually use this power? That's what part 2 is all about. James Allen is about to show you how to link your thoughts with purpose. This is the secret sauce, the real thought factor behind all achievement. How visions and ideals literally shape your future, and the ultimate state of being, serenity. If you haven't watched part 1, go back and watch it first, because what we're about to cover builds on those foundations. Ready? Let's get into it. Chapter 4, Thought and Purpose. Allen opens with a brutal truth. Until thought is linked with purpose, there is no intelligent accomplishment. Most people let their thoughts drift like a ship without a rudder. And guess what? That's a recipe for disaster. Aimlessness is a vice. If you're just drifting through life, you're going to be destroyed by it. Here's what happens when you have no central purpose. They who have no central purpose in their life fall an easy prey to petty worries, fears, troubles, and self-pityings. All of these are indicators of weakness, and weakness cannot persist in a power-evolving universe. You'll be crushed. So what's the solution? Allen gives us the formula. Step 1. Conceive of a legitimate purpose in your heart. Step 2. Set out to accomplish it. Step 3. Make this purpose the centralizing point of your thoughts. This purpose might be a spiritual ideal, a worldly object. It doesn't matter which one. What matters is that you steadily focus your thought forces upon the object you've set before yourself. Here's the commitment required. He should make this purpose his supreme duty and should devote himself to its attainment, not allowing his thoughts to wander away into ephemeral fancies, longings, and imaginings. This is the royal road. Self-control, true concentration of thought. What if you fail? Allen addresses this. Even if he fails again and again to accomplish his purpose, as he necessarily must until weakness is overcome, the strength of character gained will be the measure of his true success. Every failure builds your character. Every attempt makes you stronger. That strength becomes a new starting point for future power and triumph. But what if you don't have a great purpose yet? Allen gives you a starting point. Those who are not prepared for the apprehension of a great purpose should fix the thoughts upon the faultless performance of their duty, no matter how insignificant their task may appear. Start where you are. Focus on doing your current task perfectly. Gather and focus your thoughts. Develop resolution and energy. When you do this, there is nothing which may not be accomplished. The power of belief. The weakest soul, knowing its own weakness, and believing this truth that strength can only be developed by effort and practice, will at once begin to exert itself. And by adding effort to effort, patience to patience, strength to strength, you will never cease to develop and will at last grow divinely strong. The mental training analogy. Just as a physically weak man can make himself strong through careful and patient training, a man of weak thoughts can make them strong by exercising himself in right thinking. When you put away aimlessness and weakness and begin to think with purpose, you enter the ranks of those strong ones who only recognize failure as one of the pathways to attainment. Make all conditions serve them, think strongly, attempt fearlessly, and accomplish masterfully. Once you've conceived your purpose, here's what you do. A man should mentally mark out a straight pathway to its achievement, looking neither to the right nor the left. Doubts and fears must be rigorously excluded. They are disintegrating elements that break up the straight line of effort, rendering it crooked, ineffectual, useless. Thoughts of doubt and fear. Never accomplished anything, never can accomplish anything, always lead to failure. The source of will. The will to do springs from the knowledge that we can do. Doubt and fear are the great enemies of knowledge. If you encourage them, if you don't slay them, you thwart yourself at every step. The victor's mindset. He who has conquered doubt and fear has conquered failure. When you've eliminated doubt and fear, every thought is allied with power. All difficulties are bravely met and wisely overcome. Your purposes are seasonably planted. They bloom and bring forth fruit that doesn't fall prematurely. The ultimate transformation. Thought allied fearlessly to purpose becomes creative force. When you know this, you're ready to become something higher and stronger than a mere bundle of wavering thoughts and fluctuating sensations. You become the conscious and intelligent wielder of your mental powers. Chapter 5. The Thought Factor in Achievement. Alan drops this absolute truth. All that a man achieves and all that he fails to achieve is the direct result of his own thoughts. In a justly ordered universe, where loss of balance would mean total destruction, individual responsibility must be absolute. Your weakness and strength, purity and impurity, they're yours, not someone else's. They're brought about by you, and they can only be altered by you. The hard truth about helping others. A strong man cannot help a weaker unless that weaker is willing to be helped. And even then, the weak man must become strong of himself. You have to develop your own strength. Nobody can do it for you. None but yourself can alter your condition. The oppressor and the slave. Most people think many men are slaves because one is an oppressor. Let us hate the oppressor. But Alan reveals the deeper truth. One man is an oppressor because many are slaves. Let us despise the slaves. Wait, that sounds harsh, but here's what he really means. Oppressor and slave are cooperators in ignorance, and while seeming to afflict each other, are in reality afflicting themselves. A perfectly wise person sees the action of law in the weakness of the oppressed, the misapplied power of the oppressor. He who has conquered weakness and put away all selfish thoughts belongs neither to oppressor nor oppressed. He is free. The path upward. A man can only rise, conquer, and achieve by lifting up his thoughts. He can only remain weak, abject, and miserable by refusing to lift up his thoughts. Before you can achieve anything, even worldly things, you must lift your thoughts above slavish animal indulgence. You don't have to be perfect to succeed. Alan clarifies, a man may not, in order to succeed, give up all animality and selfishness, by any means, but a portion of it must, at least, be sacrificed. A man whose first thought is bestial indulgence can't think clearly, can't plan methodically, can't find and develop his latent resources. will fail in any undertaking. The success formula. A man's worldly success will be in the measure that he sacrifices his confused animal thoughts and fixes his mind on the development of his plans and the strengthening of his resolution and self-reliance. And the higher he lifts his thoughts, the more manly, upright, and righteous he becomes, the greater will be his success. What the universe really favors. The universe does not favor the greedy, the dishonest, the vicious. Although on the mere surface it may sometimes appear to do so, it helps. The honest, the magnanimous, the virtuous, all the great teachers throughout history have declared this. To prove it, you just need to persist in making yourself more virtuous by lifting up your thoughts. The 3 types of achievement. 1. Intellectual achievements. These are the result of thought consecrated to the search for knowledge, or for the beautiful and true in life and nature. They might sometimes be connected with vanity and ambition, but they're not the outcome of those characteristics. They're the natural outgrowth of long, arduous effort and pure, unselfish thoughts. 2. Spiritual achievements. These are the consummation of holy aspirations. He who lives constantly in the conception of noble and lofty thoughts, who dwells upon all that is pure and unselfish, will, as surely as the sun reaches its zenith and the moon its full, become wise and noble in character. 3. Material achievements. The same law applies. By lifting thoughts and focusing them with purpose, material success follows. The crown of effort. Achievement of whatever kind is the crown of effort, the diadem of thought. By the aid of self-control, resolution, purity, righteousness, well-directed thought, a man ascends. By the aid of animality, indolence, impurity, corruption, confusion of thought, a man descends. The warning about success. A man may rise to high success in the world, and even to lofty altitudes in the spiritual realm, and again descend into weakness and wretchedness by allowing arrogant, selfish, and corrupt thoughts to take possession of him. Victories attained by right thought can only be maintained by watchfulness. Many people give way when success is assured and rapidly fall back into failure. The universal law of achievement. All achievements, whether in the business, intellectual, or spiritual world, are the result of definitely directed thought, are governed by the same law, and are of the same method. The only difference is the object of attainment. The principle? Simple. He who would accomplish little must sacrifice little. He who would achieve much must sacrifice much. He who would attain highly must sacrifice greatly. Chapter 6. Visions and Ideals. Allen opens this chapter with a powerful statement. The dreamers are the saviors of the world. As the visible world is sustained by the invisible, so humanity, through all its trials, sins, and sordid vocations, is nourished by the beautiful visions of solitary dreamers. Humanity cannot forget its dreamers. It cannot let their ideals fade and die. It lives in them. Who are these dreamers? Composer, sculptor, painter, poet, prophet, sage. These are the makers of the afterworld, the architects of heaven. The world is beautiful because they have lived. Without them, laboring humanity would perish. The realization principle. He who cherishes a beautiful vision, a lofty ideal in his heart, will one day realize it. Allen gives us examples. Columbus cherished a vision of another world, and he discovered it. Copernicus fostered the vision of a multiplicity of worlds and a wider universe, and he revealed it. Buddha beheld the vision of a spiritual world of stainless beauty and perfect peace, and he entered into it. Your instructions: cherish your visions, cherish your ideals, cherish. The music that stirs in your heart, the beauty that forms in your mind, the loveliness that drapes your purest thoughts, out of them will grow all delightful conditions, all heavenly environment. If you remain true to them, your world will at last be built from these visions. The law of desire. To desire is to obtain. To aspire is to achieve. Think about this question. Shall man's basest desires receive the fullest measure of gratification, and his purest aspirations starve for lack of sustenance? Such is not the law. Such a condition can never exist. Ask and receive. The becoming principle. Dream lofty dreams, and as you dream, so shall you become. Your vision is the promise of what you shall one day be. Your ideal is the prophecy of what you shall at last unveil. The seed of reality. The greatest achievement was at first and for a time a dream. The oak sleeps in the acorn. The bird waits in the egg. In the highest vision of the soul, a waking angel stirs. Dreams are the seedlings of realities. But transformation's story. Alan tells the story of a youth. He's hard-pressed by poverty and labor, confined long hours in an unhealthy workshop, unschooled, lacking all the arts of refinement. But he dreams of better things. He thinks of intelligence, refinement, grace, and beauty. He conceives of and mentally builds up an ideal condition of life. The vision of a wider liberty and larger scope takes possession of him. Unrest urges him to action. He uses all his spare time and means, small though they are, to develop his latent powers and resources. The inevitable result. Very soon, his mind has changed so much that the workshop can no longer hold him. It's become so out of harmony with his mentality that it falls out of his life as a garment is cast aside. With the growth of opportunities that fit the scope of his expanding powers, he passes out of it forever. Years later, we see him as a full-grown man, a master of certain forces of the mind, wielding worldwide influence and almost unequaled power. He has realized the vision of his youth. This isn't theory. This isn't philosophy for philosophers. This is the operating system of reality itself. James Allen wrote this in 1903, over 120 years ago. And yet, most people still don't understand that they are the masters of their fate, the captains of their soul, the creators of their circumstances. But now, you know that your thoughts become your character. Your character shapes your circumstances. Your circumstances reflect your inner state, and you can change all of it by changing your thoughts. So here's my challenge to you. For the next 7 days, I want you to do one thing. Monitor your thoughts. Every time you catch yourself thinking a weak, fearful, negative, or limiting thought, stop. Replace it with its opposite. Replace it with strength, courage, positivity, and possibility. Watch what happens to your life. And here's what I need you to do right now. If this audiobook opened your eyes, if it shifted something in you, if you feel like you just discovered a secret that changes everything, hit that like button. Subscribe to this channel, because I'm bringing you more life-changing audiobooks and wisdom that 99% of people will never discover. Drop a comment below and tell me, what's the one thought pattern you're going to change starting today? And if you want to own this book, to highlight it, to reread it, to keep it as a reference for life, I've put an Amazon link in the description below. It's less than $10 and could be the best investment you ever make. Remember, you will be what you will to be. Dream lofty dreams, and as you dream, so shall you become. Self-control is strength. Right thought is mastery. Calmness is power. Now go out there and become the master of your thoughts, the creator of your character, and the architect of your destiny. I'll see you in the next audiobook. Peace.